My name is Spiro Villioti. Join us as we unpick the threads of our creative fashion community, always remembering our values of nurturing, being commercially savvy and extraordinary. It's a crazy place filled with fun, passion, dedication, and so much laughter, which we love.
Oh, wonderful. So, we are with Abiah, aka Abiah.
Don't look at you, don't look at the camera.
You can look at
both.
whoever you want to look
you look
at.
better. But hi, hello. Hi, guys.
So, we are very excited to be sitting with you today, Abiah.
Thank you, Josh.
We're going to be doing a little bit of a profile, and I just want to find out who Abiah is.
Okay.
I want to know the...
Well, my French tip just came off. Lord, that's Abiah. Okay, no, but who's Abiah? Sure, that's quite a question.
Quite a bit. Let's start off with your childhood.
Okay.
How you grew up, where you grew up, who was little Abiah?
Oh my gosh, little Abiah. He was out of order. I can only imagine. But I grew up in Pretoria. So my mom was still studying and my dad they were still studying. They were studying varsity, and was raised by my gran while they were finishing their studies. So I grew up in Garangua in Pretoria. Yeah. And so I think I just was, I would say, very opinionated, quite bubbly, loud, very chatty.
Okay.
Yeah. Apparently I spoke a lot. So if you took me in a taxi, I really just was that kid. Like, what's that? What's that one doing? You know?
Yeah.
So yeah.
What does that mean? What is the sign?
You know, just the yeah. Like that one that's always got something to say.
Young Abibi
becomes
Abibi.
Oh, just I. Yeah.
Oh, BB.
Okay, through to teenage. Okay, so growing up, as I said, I do believe, you know, my parents gave me a lot of opportunities in terms of how they raised us. I've got a younger brother, but the kind of schools that we went to, and I guess the kind of life that we were exposed to, you know, just allowed opportunities to, you know, broaden your horizons, broaden Abibi's horizons. I know when I grew up, I really wanted to just stay in Pretoria, which is Garangua. So it's not like Pretoria, like CBD. It's like, you know, where it's like dusty streets, you know, that whole movie. But it was where I loved being that side. I just felt, I don't know, maybe it's because I also love my gran that much, but I loved the simplicity
but it's
of
home.
life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then you come to the city, and parents there, and their reason was that, you know, you need to come here because that's where, you know, opportunities are going to be. And obviously when you look at life now and you know better, you go, it is where, you know, the best of the best. If you're going to be one of the best of the best, you need to be here. But so moved to the city, Benoni, studied that side, primary school.
What high school did you go to?
So I went to St. Columbus,
Okay.
primary school, and then from St. Columbus I went to St. Dunstan's. So they were almost like next door to each other in a sense.
Yes.
Yeah, went to the high school there, and I don't know, like...
What I want to know is, how did Abiah come to life?
All of this.
And what does it mean?
Sure, you see, now to say what does it mean, I myself, I won't lie to you, Josh, I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like, some people like, I don't know, some people like oranges, some people like pears, and others just love big hair. I'm like one of those people that just, I don't know what it is. I don't know how I gravitated towards the things that I gravitate towards, but I've somehow always found an attraction towards all of this. Like for myself, I've always found fashion, I'll go to the nth degree. So I won't necessarily, I've grown to love a little bit of like minimalism and the finer details. No, not on myself. Come on, not on myself. But I've loved, people who can be so restrained in an appreciation of like simplicity. Whereas on my side, I want the fireworks. I think knowing a little bit of history, I would say I'm like Marie Antoinette, but reincarnated in an ebony skin tone, and she's paying for all her sins in today's time. Because really, I don't know, more is more. I love big. I love, if you show me a detail, I want you to take that detail to the nth degree. So how did that came about? I really can't really say. In high school, I had dreads, and they were like mini dreads, like the ones where you take a face cloth and you like rub your hair, your natural hair, and then it starts coiling and it creates little dreads, and that's what I had. But I think even then I really wanted to have bigger hair, but I just didn't. So maybe that's it. Girl, Josh, you better tell me what's up. Maybe that's, but somehow I've always really loved hair, or I've just loved playing around with fashion and taking items that, let's say, my parents had bought me, and then I'd like cut it up and switch it up, which my mom was not impressed with. Really, not at all. She was like, I'm never going to buy you clothes.
We all had that. I think we all had that at a stage.
Yeah, but I think what I turned them into was just not going to work. So it's kind of one of those things that I'm still also discovering why it is that I gravitate towards things that kind of make me stand out when, I always say sometimes I'm quite shy. Really, I really
but talking about that though, so we always, and I think I was also a person when I first met you, I was like, Abiah, loud, jumpy, Abiah, clothes, no, carrying on.
Fashion, Shante.
There we go, Shante, the whole thing. But then, as I got to know you a little bit more, I can see there's a little bit more of a quieter backing with you.
Predominantly, I'm very to myself. I'm very quiet, and then I just have moments where I am like out of order. Yes, I'm out of order, and I'm just like that person that is, I love people. That's the one thing that I would say maybe brings out that side of me. If I'm around people, I am very positive. I like to, mingle. I like to find out what makes people happy.
Yeah.
And then obviously when I'm by myself, I'm very calm, very like boring. Like, oh my gosh, you put the snooze button on him. Very much like that. So they both are Abiah. It's not like I have to switch on one or, switch off the other. But it's just, people always expect, I think, that, she's just going to come in here and be like, oh my gosh, Diva, darling, no, that's her, dude, what are you wearing? And which is not really the case.
But what I find really lovely is the amount of respect that you have at the institution. Not respect you have for the institution, the people have for you. Well, yes, but that's inevitable. But what I mean is, the students, the staff, people just respect you so much. And from a student point of view, that's amazing. And how do you think you get that from everyone? I'm trying to get something.
Sure, Josh, you're asking me answers that, girl, if I knew those answers, maybe I'd be a millionaire because I'd be cashing them in. I don't know. I would maybe say that, with the students, I speak to the students as though I'm one of them, or I know when I was a student, I was not your model student, the one that's just getting A's and just like breezing through that degree. I had to literally work for that degree. I had to do a few courses again. And for me, what that taught me was sometimes you know what you want. Sometimes you get distracted by, let's say, doing experiential learning while you've got your your studies going on. So basically like freelancing and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, you gotta give your studies as much attention as if it was your job.
Yes.
And with the respect that one day you will look back on that and go, whoa, I'm so glad I did actually finish my degree, because now when I do my career, all those lessons come in, all that, all those values, the discipline.
So you speak from a place of truth.
I speak from a place of truth. I speak from a place of experience, and I speak from a place of, I don't have all the answers, but what the answers I do have could be in your taste. So open your book. But but the ones that I don't have answers to, it's one of those, I can help you figure that out maybe through my experience, but at the same time, you're going to figure it out on your own, because that's the nature of the industry that we've chosen. There's no really right or wrong, unless, of course, it's in the textbook. But, there's no right or wrong. It's just a case of trial and error, and you finding your, your calling or your path within this field.
But it's also pushing your idea. And like you said, no wrong or right way, but it's a better way.
Absolutely.
Teaching them a better way of pushing the idea forward.
And a way to go about pushing their perspective, to hopefully get the best possible response or,
lovely
reward.
I love that. Fashion. Let's talk fashion.
Darling, this fashion girl, boy, Lord. Fashion, yes, fashion. Let's talk
first inspiration behind your outfit today.
Okay, inspiration behind my outfit. Okay, well, when you said we're going to shoot something, I thought, it's 2021. So I'm not going to come looking tired. Hell no, I'll be damned. So then I thought, okay, well, what can I put on that matches a pony?
And this sleeve?
And then, yes, that's the right sleeve. And I just thought, if I'm going to have something to keep the audience exciting, it might as well be something under my kimono sleeve.
And look, the gold nails.
I just thought, let's do something fun. I mean, it's a new year, Josh. I like to have fun with fashion, really. And I really believe at the core of it all, fashion is meant to be fun. Fashion is meant to make us feel other than, I mean, before this, I was doing some administration, and my face was not like this. It looked more like that. And Josh was, girl, are you alright? But then I thought, okay, well, let me just turn it up so that you don't...
I'm putting my coat on, I'll be here now.
Just give a girl a second to gather herself and her thoughts.
I think we all are a little bit inspired by you and Brad, because every day when you walk in or when Brad walks in, we always just, wow, or, you can hear them from a mile away.
Here she comes.
I think more beer than Brad.
Galloping in. What I love about being at Villioti, honestly, is that everyone's energy is inspiring. Honestly, I mean, you might say you are inspired by us, but we're also inspired by you, and it's in different ways. You know what I mean? And that's what's so nice about the environment here. It's that the students get from it different personalities, which is what the industry is about. It's walking into almost like a zoo with here it's nice animals. Sometimes
with
out
pretty
there,
animals.
we teach you how to fight hyenas, fight tigers, lions, bears, zebras, and find your way to gallop about your career. But it really, for me, that's what is the most exciting, is, mingling with other people and finding your own way to navigate this life.
Yes. That's so important.
Because this life is not easy.
It's so important. But people, when I say people, I think a lot of students, actually people. There are a few people out there that also don't necessarily have their niche on navigating. And it's so important that you say that we teach fashion, but we also teach you how to find your way to navigate your life once you graduate, which is beautiful.
It's the hardest thing to do, because you can have that degree, but if you are not, or you haven't built up your confidence to be able to pitch your ideas, or to be able to go out into the world and say, no matter whether you're shy or you are, I'd say maybe that's where it comes from. I mean, okay, can I go back to your question? Sorry, folks, I'm taking you back around. Josh is probably like, this is so out of order. We're done with that question. But I would say one of the reasons maybe I'm also the way I am is that you can be shy in your own capacity, but in order to tell people about, the ideas that you are trying to, retail, or the ideas that you're trying to, create, and you need help from others, you got to be able to communicate that, and you got to be able to really show them your perspective, and then hope that they like it. Sometimes it's a yes, sometimes it's a no, it's all right, and sometimes it's a maybe, put on chill, but that's the nature of the game.
Yes.
And then you keep on and you keep on. So I think I just got louder and louder.
But it's just a tool that is almost needed when expressing yourself as well. Yes, to a certain extent you can get a shy person that does express himself in a very timid way. But listen, if you need to be heard at the back of the room,
girl, you better
project.
Or get that microphone. Or get a microphone. That's the other. I guess that's the more elegant way.
Yeah, and those little ones.
Yes. Well, that's our way. Janet Jackson, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hi.
And then Amen Interior / fashion.
Yes.
Am I saying it right?
Well, yeah.
So it's Amen.
It's Amen in
Amen.
essence,
Okay.
And then we just have got different divisions of the brand.
Mm-hmm.
So initially it's Amen Fashion. When we started, we were Amen Couture, until you find out that, honey, couture, you better know your seams better match up, and they better be hand-done. Then I thought, okay. Then we changed from Amen Couture to Amen Fashion. Because we do a lot of ready-to-wear, but fun, bold. We are not afraid to play with print. We're not afraid to play with, I guess, what I would say, statements, and just basically the concept of fashion, and what is fashion, and what should people be wearing, what should designers be advertising. That's what Amen Fashion kind of deals with.
Yes.
And yeah.
And it's been quite exciting. I've been following it quite closely. This new campaign that you did.
It's the boys that are exciting. In the speeders. No, I'm kidding.
No, your new campaign.
Yeah. Okay, so the new one we did, because what we do is a lot of capsule collections. Because until you are, and this I like to say to the students, until you are one day some big shot designer, calling everybody order, give me this, give me that. Funding your own little collections takes a lot of time, a lot of money, so we like to do a lot of niche little collections, and then we test them out on social media and see how the audience reacts if people put in inquiries to buy it, and then we will produce a few quantities of whatever is really requested. Yeah.
And are you going to send us some images of this campaign?
I can.
So we can.
I can. No, absolutely.
Embrace.
Please put it on.
We can
No,
show
please can you
everybody
just put it on?
some
Because it's
beautiful
hot,
pieces.
hot. It's hotter than this hairstyle and this red hot. Yes, it's actually so hot. Please do.
I saw a few of these pictures and they're really beautiful. So while we're busy talking now, we're going to roll up those pictures and see what they look like as well.
It's called the Back to School New in Class 2021.
Oh my.
But these ones are not going to your normal class. Honey. Yeah.
That campaign's really beautiful. And then you showcased at Fashion Week just before lockdown.
Sure, Josh, that was so dramatic. It was dramatic and it was traumatic. So now we got our first collection together.
This was last year, 2020, by the way.
Yes. So we haven't, Brady and I haven't actually showcased on official platforms. We used to do Back to the City and very underground, street, hip, urban type of platforms. That's where we would showcase.
Yeah. And
so doing Fashion Week, or AFI, Africa Fashion International, was our first official platform, actually doing a runway show.
Full-on collection.
Wow, we did the work, prep, honey, late nights. Oh my word, stress. I hate this. I love it. I don't like it anymore.
The works.
You've got now your collection. We go to Cape Town. The day of our show, they decide they've been hearing a lot of word that there's this coronavirus. I'm about to sound like Cardi B, coronavirus. And they were like, they've decided that they're not going to have an audience. Yes, because they're feeling like it's a bit dangerous. And then it was like, oh my word. You know, like when they tell you this, you're thinking, okay.
And you're like, official platform, work really hard, develop collection, bring it out there.
Like, I'm about to shut it down. I'm about to let them know.
You shut it down a little too much.
Wow, clearly. So much that they were like, oh no, don't let her go onto the runway. So yeah, what they did do, which was, I guess, groundbreaking, they were like, the show will carry on. They just won't have any audience at all. But then as the designers, you get your images, which I would say is sometimes the most important thing when you do the fashion weeks, is to get your images on, you know, official models or proper models.
On the runway,
with
AFI backing.
You know what I mean? And then you still have to do the other work, PR and press, and get those pictures out there. You know, decide which garments you're going to reproduce, which ones are fun for the runway, but honey, ain't nobody gonna order those. So if you want to starve, you go on, designer. You know, so it's like it's a fun game, but sometimes it doesn't feel that way.
I can imagine. That for me, I remember you guys showing me some of the looks, especially that print. That print was really beautiful. The boy.
Yeah, the hungry boy.
The hungry boy print, stunning.
Thank you.
And I remember you showing me it, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
No.
And I mean, even the concept behind it, we were like so excited, you know, because it was, we took inspiration from people standing on the side of the road and begging, like, you know, hungry, like don't do crime, food, help. And we were like, soon South Africans not supporting, you know, local product, designers might find themselves at the robots. Trust me, there were times where Bradley and I thought of actually doing pop-ups at the robot, like, hi, do you want a handbag, ma'am? Do you want a skirt?
How cool.
You know, it's all nice and well, but promotions are hard. Whew. I've done those in my days. Yeah, but it was, you know, really nice. And then lockdown happened, which I guess, you know, kind of tied in with the image or the message behind the whole concept. Because it was that, you know, if we don't look at our own products and our own, you know, talent in the country, what do we expect them to do? They're either going to leave or
that's not just
end
true.
up with the robots, which is out of order.
Out of order, completely.
Bang it, bang, bang. You can't be making designers do that. Oh, so wonderful.
But one thing I do want to touch base on is you met Grace Coddington, you met all of the lovelies overseas.
Sure.
How was your experience? It was London Fashion Week.
Sure, we did it all. We went to, so we started in London, and then from London we went to Milan, and then from Milan we got FOMO and we caught the train to Paris. So it was like, it sounds like such a romantic story, but
you did it all.
Sure. Josh, I wish we had you with this camera. You should have seen us because we overpacked, of course. Because we were like, oh my gosh,
I need the kimonos.
Like, we're going to meet them all. Naomi, Anna. And you get there and it really is an eye-opener. And it really is something that I would encourage, I think, any up-and-coming designer or any creative is to travel. You know, obviously it's a lot of money, so you got to save up and it takes a while. I mean, we only did this not last year, the year before. So you can imagine we've already had been establishing ourselves for quite a few years. And finally we were able to go overseas together. And
just to experience,
what is it like that side?
Yeah.
You know, they call it the fashion capitals. What are they doing? You know, and really, Josh, it is, no, they are not here to play. Like, wow, it opened our eyes to just how big the fashion industry really is. Because sometimes you can be so stuck in the ways that we do it in South Africa that you sometimes get despondent or discouraged because if certain people don't like you, you feel like you're never going to make it. Honey, and to the students, I hope you are watching this channel. And meeting Grace, I mean, you know, she spotted this girl's hair and I was, girl, when are you putting me on that cover? You know, and it was just like, you must work to impress your immediate surroundings and get a following in South Africa. But at the same time, sometimes certain fashion designers and fashion creatives have an eye and a perspective, or what they produce sometimes is actually meant for the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you might end up being very discouraged this side until you get that side and you go,
but there's no
really
real
turn it up.
There's no real battle to be like, okay, my work is worldly. It's not necessarily focused on our country.
Yeah.
But there are ways and means to get your work expressed on that side of the world. There's applications, there are lots of things to take advantage of
while you are here.
And
absolutely, I agree with you. I think what you just said is exactly correct. It's just sometimes, and maybe I'm speaking to a person like myself, if I don't see sometimes something, I really don't believe that it's possible or it exists.
Yeah.
And so you can see Grace Carrington on the cover of Vogue, but
until you actually see,
and when you see her, you go, this is another creative person, and you could possibly create something that you can send to her.
Yeah.
It's just that it's going to be a struggle to send it to her directly.
Yeah.
While being this side, but there are ways to do it. By entering those competitions, you put yourself out there so that they can pick you up on the radar. By going there, with no invitations at all.
Yes.
You get there and you go,
approaching.
Knock, knock. It is, my CV. You walk around with that portfolio. It is like that.
Yeah.
It is possible. And so you gotta make sure wherever you are in the world, create your best. So that
be your brand.
Be your brand. Or just be you and what you are hoping to create. And hopefully, one day can be turned into a brand. Because there's a lot of money that it requires to be a brand. I don't even consider myself a brand. Even Oprah. I watched something with Oprah and she was like, she doesn't really consider herself a brand.
Well, she can
until
say
now.
that.
Well, until now, yes. But it takes a lot to become a brand.
Yeah.
But when you start out, just create and put it into, catalog it and put it nicely into like those mood boards. Now I'm sounding like the teacher. Oh my gosh, yes, please make it look professional.
I love a mood board.
You know what I mean? Easy to read, easy to follow, but shows who you are. And
most definitely,
really take it wherever you can. Okay.
Oh, Abiah, I love it. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
I think we should get back to work.
Please. Before we're fired. Oh my gosh.
No.
Stay in school, kids. Or come to the village.
So we're sitting with Brad now. Bradley Mutted.
Yes.
There we go. And Brad is also one of our lecturers at the Villioti Fashion Institute. He does styling, retail.
The subjects I do is styling, business management, fashion events. Yeah, so some of those subjects.
Lovely. And Brad is going to be telling us a little bit about him because we're always so intrigued by you and Abiah. There's always a new outfit, there's always a new hairdo. And I think we all want to get to know you all a little bit more.
Sure. Okay. I think the best place to start is, I suppose, where I grew up. I grew up in Joburg. Typical, I would say, middle class family, somewhat conservative family. And I went to quite a butch school. I went to JP Boys. And after going to JP Boys, I studied my BCom. But I always had something inside of me that was eating me up. It was just, I wanted a creative outlet.
Yes.
And although doing the BCom, I think beneficial, it had a good benefit on me in terms of the business side. I still wanted to express myself more creatively, and that's when I decided to go study fashion.
Okay.
And coming along with that is also, coming out, which is, I think, not easy for many people to learn to accept themselves and families to come to terms with it. But there was no big drama in terms of being kicked out of the house or anything like that. I think it was just a gradual...
Which is fortunate. I mean, I'm exactly the same.
Yes.
I also had quite an easy transition from shadowed life to base life.
Yeah, so it's not a big drama story. I believe in the arts. The arts sometimes find you, and I feel that fashion found me. I was always intrigued with fashion. I remember as a young boy, I always used to play a lot with Barbie dolls and have Miss World competitions between the different Barbie dolls. Often sketching.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to, if I could have those sketches to see what they would look like. But I always remember sketching a lot of fashion. So it was a huge part in my life growing up, and then it was something I wanted to pursue. And that's why I decided to study it. Dressing up for me it's an important part of my lifestyle, because I think fashion is about communicating a message. It's something that's great for the environment. It can put a smile on someone's face, and it can make someone feel good. And I think that's why I take dressing so important and try to express my emotions, feelings, something that I am, a trend that I'm toying with or playing with through my fashion.
Yeah.
Because I think it's good. It's just generally good for the environment, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what would you say your style is in particular?
Sure, I would say.
And why we go with that direction?
Sure, I'm one of those people that I think my style is all over the place. I love neon poppy colors to the grunge punk feel,
Okay.
But I like to have my own take on it, whether mixing them together, clashing different trends or styles together. But always, I think it's important to have your own personality in your style.
Mm-hmm.
So I like many trends from different, what they call style tribes, whether it's skater boys wearing the types of, or the sneaker guys wearing the different types of sneakers. But just trying to incorporate elements that you like to yourself, and also what works on you, or what hopefully you think works well on you. Hair I love to play with. I'm always with a different hairstyle. Also, like, I'm short, so sometimes I like a little bit of height. It makes me look a bit taller. But I enjoy playing with different hairstyles, hair colors. I've got braids now, playing with some African style trends in the hair. Just taking inspiration from different places and applying it to your fashion.
Lovely. And do you think you do that with the way you teach as well?
I do. I think when it comes to teaching, one of the biggest lessons that I like to bring across to my students is to have a point of view, to have if you like the minimalist style, if you like the punk style, but have a point of reference and turn it into something. And I try and enhance that in my classroom settings, where I try and let everyone's personality come out and everyone's style, because there's nothing wrong with anyone's style. Sometimes it's got to be tweaked in how we put it together, but there's something beautiful, I believe, with all trends that are out there. but it's having a strong point of view about it.
Mm.
That I think
And how you
makes
put it across or portray it.
Absolutely.
You know.
You know, and you've also got to be comfortable with the style. You know, and I think that's a big part of dressing. You know, I wouldn't wear something I don't feel comfortable in.
Mm.
You know, or I look in the mirror and I'm looking at and I don't feel comfortable in terms of the look.
Mm.
You know, because then I'm not going to carry that look off well. And I think you've got to be comfortable in the style as well. And sometimes it's also about pushing yourself, you know, and pushing the boundaries, taking ourselves out of our comfort zones is also important. But that comes with time and slowly progressing your style. And it's okay if style changes as well. You know, some months you want to be completely in a black zone where you're just wearing black clothes, and then the next month you want to be colourful.
Mm.
You know, there's nothing wrong with that. And I think we should just have fun with that.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. So what is new and happening with Amen Interior / fashion?
Yeah, well, Abiah and I, we've got a fashion and interior label. We are currently launching a new collection, and we're preparing for Fashion Week, which is coming up in the next 2-3 months. So all hands on deck are going to be preparing for that and just getting ready for Fashion Week. And let's see, and make 2021 a great year.
Wonderful. I hope we're invited.
Absolutely, no, of course you are.
Are they going virtual?
Front row. Well, I think everything is day by day now.
Mm.
You know, we're still waiting to see what's going to happen.
Mm.
So Fashion Week is happening, whether it's virtual or a proper live performance, we don't know yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I wish you all the best of
Sure.
luck with that.
Awesome.
Let's hope 2021 brings some really cool things for Brad and Abiah.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you for sitting with us and chatting and telling us a bit about you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
Okay.
We've got gifts. Sasha and I's new office chairs. Sasha and I's or Sasha and my new office chair.
Oh, there's two.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Gifts.
Okay. Okay. This is quite easy. I mean, you just need some scissors, right?
I want to take the plastic off, yes.
Then you've got some arms, extra comfort.
These are the pieces that kind of get the wheels together with the base of the chair.
Okay, let's go get some scissors. How do you like the new chairs, guys?
Love them.
Awesome.